that rings his canvas, man. He's the author. You know, he's telling that story. The story of Dean Ambrose is something really cool.
Dean Ambrose arrived in the WWE via the independent circuit. However, Ambrose's journey is a bit more unconventional.
What was it like for a kid like you, Dean Ambrose, coming from the mean streets of Cincinnati, Ohio?
Me and my mom worked, we lived in an apartment, little apartment. My mom worked overnights, so like she'd be gone from like 10, 11 at night till like 7 in the morning, whatever. And my dad he lived out of the state, so me and my sister kind of we kind of learned how to figure it out for ourselves. You know, my mom would come home and sleep all day. I think I kind of gained kind of my wandering kind of spirit, maybe, because me and my sister just kind of figured out how to do stuff on our own, how to make macaroni and cheese or whatever on our own. We just kind of wandered the streets, you know, learned things, met people, did our thing, and just kind of, you know, me and my sister just kind of figured it out for ourselves, and we became very, very independent. You know, my parents divorced when I was pretty young. I mean, I don't have any kind of like sob story that, you know, like a lot of people like to be like, oh, you know, I came from this terrible situation that happened, and like, yeah, but that's everybody. Everybody's got their own story. I was on my own thing, you know, like, and yeah, I mean, in high school, I was into some stuff I probably should have been into that kind of also made it like probably stuff I can't talk about or shouldn't talk about that, you know, people shouldn't be doing, you know.
Okay.
And that also made it harder to go to school, and just, you know, I was a wreck in high school, you know. It's hard to even, you know, get into it, you know.
Like where I grew up in Cincinnati, and it was a pretty bad situation where I grew up at. I mean, it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't anything like, you know, to be sad about or anything, but I pretty much ended up having to raise sort of myself. My mom was like, you know, she was like an alcoholic and, you know, like kind of a junkie, and she's since like claims she found God.
If people ask me, pretty much, I just say that I was raised by wolves.
It's pretty much just me kind of making my own way. I mean, I was very like independent, sort of. Anyway, like
you just knew.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of like, you know, I discovered wrestling and used it as kind of like an escape. Like, you know, there weren't, you know, I would rent like movies from the video store. I'd rent like old WWF tapes and WCW tapes and stuff, and like I would just sit and watch them for like hours on VCR, and just like get lost in it, and just like I can't remember a time when I didn't, like, I can't pinpoint like where I discovered wrestling. It was just like I always knew that. I just knew that's where I was going. I just had like a feeling of it. I mean, to me there was like nothing else. There was like the crappy real world and like the awesome world of wrestling that like was like so much better. It was like the other side of the bubble.
I saw a flyer on a telephone pole, and on the back, at the very bottom, there's a little logo, and it says Les Thatcher's Main Event Pro Wrestling Camp. And I instantly knew. That's it.
His enthusiasm, his passion was never in question. And his self-assurance that I'm going to do this and do it well came through as well, sometimes too much.
And I kept telling Les I was 18. And then as we got closer to like where he was like talking about signing up and stuff, I was like, well, you know, he's like, how old are you again? I was like, well, I'm 16. He's like, oh, wow. And I like said, well, you know, come back and, you know, when you're 18, and, you know, he was like, not about it if I wasn't 18. So I'm like, I was furious. I was like fucking pissed. So I got left, and I like stormed out, and I was like pissed, and I was thinking like I'm gonna slash that motherfucker's tires. He's trying to take wrestling away from me. And I was like, this is like the only escape I have, dude. Like, and I saw that little like the second I saw a little thing, it said Main Event Pro Wrestling Camp on the flyer. Like I just instantly knew. I was like, that's what I'm going. That's what I'm doing. Like I knew. I was like, this is the ticket, dude. Like I came back later that night, and I was gonna like beg him more. I mean, he was already gone, and Cody was still there. They were still running practice. And I was talking to him a little more. He's like, oh, you know, you can come back and, do security, host up the ring or whatever. And, like, so Les was kind of, like, phasing himself out of this time. He was about to sell to Cody, who ended up owning the company. So, maybe a month after this, Les sold the company, so it didn't matter. So he started showing up at the shows and, like, help set up the ring and like selling concessions and do whatever, and I would just hang out before the show, and like dudes would drag me in the ring a little bit, and I would sit and watch practices before they would let me get in the ring. Like while Les was still there, I would just sit there the entire like 3-hour practice and just watch and just like listen and absorb everything, like without ever getting to do anything. And like over time, like I'd get in the ring, take like a bump, or somebody would show me something, or they'd use me as a dummy, and like I was kind of getting like, but through sitting and watching practice and like the little times I was able to get in the ring, like I was like sort of becoming like semi-trained without actually starting. And then like after Les left, I was 17, it was like Cody just let me start, training full time, and I started coming to practice full time.
And he's maturing, and he keeps coming back for more. Then you realize he has not just his head in it, but his heart and his soul in it as well.
Every day you learn something new, and I work my ass off. Just a magical, great time.
This time's gonna be different. Not only am I gonna be better, I am gonna plant your big purple ass in the mat for good. This time you're going to scream bloody murder freaking uncle. Give me a high five for the king. He's going down.
I want to get the post-match comments. The one John Moxley, he just wrestled.
I'm not a very well-liked individual. I know that's cool. I am the best wrestler you will ever be in the ring with.
Pro wrestling. It's the only reason I'm still alive. And this now, and it makes me sick. Everybody else thinks wrestling owes them something. All the time, me. I should be champion. I should be a featured performer. I shouldn't be paired with this guy in the team. I should get more mic time. I should get that, whatever. I'll give you something. I'll give you all something to cry about tonight. Success in this sport is predicated on how well you take advantage of opportunities when they come. Sometimes, no matter how desperately you want them, no matter how ready you are to seize them, no matter how hard you try, the opportunities just don't come.